Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to another Dead by Daylight review. I just accidentally closed my menu. Today we're going to be looking at a particular concept to rework boon totems to maybe make them more feasible. Hello, hello. I'm just gonna label the title of the video, as always, because when I'm streaming directly from Encoder, as soon as I start said stream, it just pops up. Alright. Alright, well, today, an item idea for the new boon totem mechanic. Keep in mind that this was way back in October, before any of the other new stuff came out, so this is subject to change. It is from RDQ _ the Red Fox. I'll copy and paste this. I'm actually just gonna fill this in. Why not? I'm already there. Boom. And there you go. You got your own post. So, I'm gonna go over this like I usually would. Keep in mind that this is old, so some of this is going to be subject to change because of the new changes to Dead by Daylight. This person sent me an email and all of that roundabouts this time, and well, because Dead by Daylight, the little messaging system, even though you click on it, it doesn't actually show your inbox, which is annoying. And it doesn't show the messages or anything like that. I just happened to be editing my profile today, and I seen that an email was sent to me. So I apologize for being late and getting back to you on this, and I'm hoping that we can, well, you're still interested in any ideas. Hopefully I can provide some sort of feedback, or at least give you more suggestions to where you can keep expanding upon this unique idea. Alright. This is an item idea, so keep in mind, like flashlights and toolboxes and things like this, this is an item that you can bring with you. It is a tarot card deck, which makes it a mystic item. Its uses is it allows you to cleanse / bless totems to remove their curse and add any boon perks. Each tier will either increase charges or the cleansing speed. Blessing timers aren't improved without add-ons. So by default, the speed at which you bless anything isn't actually going to be improved unless you add on specific add-ons. So it's not just this OP item that you can just walk up, instantly touch a totem, and then whoosh, it's done. It is strictly, the item itself, without any add-ons, is strictly to that, remove the curse and add on boon perks. The add-ons, we have river, cleansed, and holy water, so 3 different types of water. White, red, purple, and black candle, okay. Flint and granite arrowhead, okay. Stone and amber crystal hearts. So you have 3 different, I guess that would be pink, purple, and green add-ons of each caliber. So you'll have different types of water, candles, arrowheads, and crystal hearts, excuse me. The water speeds up totem blessing time by removing 2, 6, and 8 seconds from the blessing timer. If we're gonna go from pink, purple, and green, I would make the pink one in this particular case, because it's already taking out 8 seconds, you might as well just consume the cloth itself and enable one totem to just be, boom, instantly applied. Like a syringe, you could add something in like that, or brand new part. Things like that that are generally use items, because like flashlight's not necessarily a use item, it's a, you know, point and click item. But use items like brand new parts. The med kit has the syringe. Both of those are instantaneous effects that you can particularly use. You don't have to necessarily consume the cloth afterwards, but I would just decrease the amount of charges and just make it, you know, balanced to be the same amount, but just make it instantaneous. It's just a suggestion, something you could do on that. I have lost my position. Here we go. The candles. The add-ons allows the survivor to bless a totem without having a boon perk. I'm going to keep reading, hang on, before I say anything. But it will become a dull totem after 3, 5, and 8, 12 seconds, during which it will reveal the killer's aura to those standing inside the totem's radius. It does not stack with boon perks, so do as you please. If boon perks are active, then this effect will wear off after the timer, but the boon totem will stay until snuffed out by the killer themselves. So, this add-on allows the survivor to bless a totem without having a boon perk. I would like to, underneath it or something like that, explain the effect. I mean, I do see that afterwards it reveals the killer's aura to those standing inside. But I would like to see the specific effect that you're trying to do with the actual candle, separate from the actual main paragraph. It just makes it easier to understand. And then after this particular thing blesses, it becomes a dull totem after 12 seconds. During which it will reveal the killer's aura to anything standing inside the totem's radius. Oh, it's just reversed ordered. Okay. It's all reversed ordered. Gotcha. So yeah, to make this a lot more clear, I mean, I understand what you're saying. What you're essentially saying is you can walk over, use the tarot card deck, which gives you the black candle add-on, to essentially give the boon a timed activation. So for 12 seconds on the 3, 5, 8, and 12 river cleansed and holy, or candles, white, red, black, white, red, purple, and black. There are 4. So yeah, the 3, 5, 8, and 12 seconds, during that time, anybody that's within that particular radius, the killer aura is revealed to them. However, using that, it doesn't stack with boon perks, so any other boon perks in the future that would reveal killer's aura won't stack with that particular timer. If you do have boon perks on, the killer aura effect will wear off after the timer. Then the boon totem perks and stacks and effects like that take effect until snuffed out by the killer. Only problem I really see from this as base is that it's kind of worded backwards. If that makes any type of sense. So he's saying this add-on allows the survivor to bless a totem without having a boon perk. Okay. After the timer and all of that, this next little part right here, makes it very confusing because you says it will become because it says it will become a dull totem after 12 seconds, and then it says during which will reveal the killer's ore. So that can be a little bit misconstrued and things like that. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to slow down and make this, because I'm not trying to rewrite the perk and make all the terminology and things like that. I'm just basically saying here it would be best to separate the particular effect from this particular sentence and then restructure the sentence to where it all makes sense. Lay it out like almost like a perk. Use like the perk layout where it shows, what it does. It shows, all the things that go along with it. Then afterwards, it goes back and explains, what each in particular thing does. And then puts everything else at the end, as opposed to just globbing it right here. But the perk itself seems a little bit OP. Because again, what I've been harping on here recently is you don't need a huge amount of time to see where the killer's going. You don't need to know their exact movements or anything like that. Or it just becomes to essentially 12 seconds. If the killer is anywhere near you, you can literally just juke them out and not have to worry about taking any damage for those 12 seconds because you can see where they are. The only thing you generally need to know is killer's location and the direction they are heading at. That's why barbecue and chili and things like that only have 4 seconds. That's enough time after you hook somebody to know if a survivor is going to continue working on a generator. They're going to run a specific direction, to get out of the area, or if the killer's headed that way, or they're just going to go and hide. And that's all the basic information you need. Full send. So 12 seconds is a little high on the end. I would decrease that to like at max 6 seconds. So about probably half of that. That gives you the basic information of where the killer is and where they're headed to. And a couple of extra seconds to plan a route. Or a route, whichever one you prefer, to escape if need be. Or if you're in chase, it gives you enough time to look around and, again, plan an escape route to go to another loop or a pallet or something like that without having to worry about getting faked or anything like that. The rest of that's just kind of, yeah, it's lit up. The boon totem stays lit. Everything else is solid here. The sentence structure thing is just personal preference. And I said, it's just a suggestion. You ain't gonna do anything crazy like that. It just makes it easier to understand if you list things to where they're easy to read. So you don't have to infer back into the particular paragraph. The arrowheads, after cleansing a totem, your scratch marks and pools of blood disappear 25% faster. The only question I have to say is how long? How long does this effect last? Because they are 10 seconds is how long your scratch marks stay. So a fourth of that is what, 2.5 seconds? So I mean, you're cutting off 2.5 seconds, and pools of blood, I have no idea how long they stay. I assume it's somewhere around the time scratch marks are, minus the hemorrhage, or minus or plus the hemorrhage effect. So it's not bad. Stone Amber and Crystal Heart. After cleansing the totem, your healing speed is increased by 25%. Or corruption effects last 5 seconds less. I don't know what corruption effects are. I'm sorry. I'm not up to date on my Dead by Daylight terminology. If you're talking about like status effects, maybe something like that, I mean, I got you there. 5 seconds less is really negligible, but, you know, it's not bad. After cleansing a totem, your healing speed is increased by 25%, though, is... I don't know how I feel about that. Because the only benefit you're going to have running this, because this tarot card deck takes the place of your item. So you can't run a med kit. So the increase of speed doesn't come from that. People generally don't run self-care anymore, but I mean, if you do run self-care, you still have 24 seconds of healing, and you just spent 10 taking out a totem, or blessing a totem, or like it's like, what, it's 8 or 10 or something like that. And the time that was spent there, I mean, you could have just been self-caring, and you're not really saving that much time. I mean, I guess it helps if you don't want to lose time taking out a hex totem, but after the hex totem gets taken out, killer generally wanders over unless they're already in chase. I'm gonna say inner healing. Well, no, it was inner strength and went to inner healing, right? After you take out the totem, you just hop into a locker, and then you wait a little bit of time. I mean, it might cut off like 4 seconds of waiting, but it's not really that significant when it comes to the crystal hearts and all of that. So, I mean, heart-wise, I don't really see a huge benefit for it. I mean, technically, same with the arrowheads and things like that. I mean, they're usable, but they're not like, yeah, let's get it, you know, let's boost it. So, I would definitely probably just stick to the top 2 add-ons, the things that are most effective. The increased blessing time, that's what most people are going to definitely run as one add-on, just to make everything go faster. And then the ability to reveal the killer's aura. Those 2 are gonna be your top picks. I can see people either running these when they run out of their top picks, you know, if they're new. But I mean, older players that have played for a long time will probably never run these. And then you have the different types. The uncommon. So yeah, it is green, purple, pink. So you get 16 charges and increasing totem speed. Slightly increases boon totem range. Okay. So boon totems go, what, 24 meters, I think is what they end up being at the end. I don't recommend increasing the range of them because you have 5 totems that you can apply these effects to. And if you have, well, 4, because 4 survivors. And if you have Survive with Friends being the main target here, running boon totems, or somebody that just runs boon totems and a terror cloth, you're extending the boon totem range a lot farther than 24 meters. I mean, anywhere towards 32, you would have effectively the entire killer's terror radius of range. And you know, you can hear a killer creeping up on you from quite a few seconds before it actually happens. Like I said, this is an ode concept before everything else came out. So I don't fault you for saying something like this. Back when it was just Circle of Healing and Shadow Step, I would have agreed with you. But now you have that Boon Exponential that gives you the essentially unbreakable effect in an actual totem. It makes that way too dangerous, and they're adding in more and more Boon Totem perks as things go. So this is going to be a very huge detriment in the future. Also, it doesn't actually say, it just says slightly, moderately, and considerably. It doesn't actually give you any type of range. Generally, considerably is anywhere from 5 to 8 meters of extra range, unless it's like a map or something like that. So I don't know. You could be thinking considerably is just like, 3. Moderately could be 2, slightly could be 1. I have no idea. It takes 10 seconds to bless a totem. But these only increase totem cleansing speed, not blessing speed. So it's still going to take 10 seconds. So having 16 is going to give you 1.6 totems. 24 is going to give you 2.4 on both of those. Item wise, on the very rare one, I would give it less charges, or one of these two. I would give less charges and a lot more speed, as opposed to using the same amount and just increasing this from considerably to tremendously, and then moderately to considerably. I would nerf its charges way down, and then I would increase and buff the rest of these. So for anybody that's going for a speed style build, they can grab that add-on, throw it in, and if they go on, let's say, a totem cleansing speed, they find a hex totem that's Devour Hope or Noad at the end of the game, and they want to stop by, boom, get that out of the way very quickly before anybody gets down. Or if they just want to run the map, run the map cleansing totems to just get all of the totems out of the way. Some people do that. It's weird, but things like that. And you want to stay on gens, but you want to take a small detour. I would always leave one that's just up to speed. Generally, they have less charges and a huge amount of benefit from them. Then you can add on another add-on that increases charges or anything like that. Which, in this list of add-on, I'm not actually seeing anything that increases base charges to make your item actually last longer. That's something that actually can be added in replacement of like the hearts. Instead of healing speed and corruption effect and all of that, you can just change the hearts to, which I mean is like HP, or lifespan, which is like time, and transfer that over to just adding charges to your particular tarot cards. So this is my suggestion. The concept is fine as is. I mean, like I said, I would take this apart and explain it a little bit better, but that's just personal preference. And then these two, I would change them to be a little bit different, as opposed to just having, the same amount of charges, and then one does something a little bit better than the other one. And then again, changing this one to just add more charges to the actual tarot cards. New boon totem effect to specifically make it easier on killers. Ah, there's where the corruption comes from. Okay. But if you're explaining the corruption, I would definitely explain the corruption right after the effect that you're talking about corruption. I would explain it somewhere in here, as opposed to waiting all the way down here. But I mean, that's fine. So, corruption. After blessing a totem, the entity takes command of the survivor's fate for a few moments. For the survivor that blessed the totem, all generators, chests, and character-specific items are protected by the entity. This effect wears off after 10 seconds and does make it impossible for the killer to use aura reading abilities against you for its duration. So besides the obvious thing of the effect, or it lasting 10 seconds, and the killer not being able to use aura reading abilities, that's a problem, especially because the terror cloth is used for increasing cleansing speed and everything like that. So, if anybody goes down, a survivor that's near a totem is going to immediately run over to it and blow that totem out, so the killer doesn't get any type of barbecue or chili effects. Or any effects like that. And as you figure out which perks your particular killer has, you know, you can just, boom, pop a totem, get that protection, and then bada bing, bada boom, all the aura readings gone. So if they have like Bitter Murmur towards the end of the match, you can have somebody run off and pop a totem the last couple of the last like 11 or 12 seconds of a generator. They blow up the totem, or they pop a totem, boom, they get that corruption effect. The survivor's Bitter Murmur towards the end of the game no longer exists. Same with Rancor. That exposure that you get from Rancor would be deactivated. And a whole bunch of other perks that rely on aura reading for the killer would actually be deactivated. Survivors would just time totems and boom, just like that, get rid of it. If you run that with a totem finder, anytime a generator is about to be complete, totem could be popped. Anytime a survivor is going to be hooked, totem is going to be popped, etc., etc. So I can see where the that particular aspect of it could be exploited to essentially get rid of killer abilities. And then on the other side, or the flip side of that, whenever you pop said totem and all of that, all generators, chests, and character specific items are protected by the entity. So I guess that does stop it from being exploited to an extent. You can still exploit that. You just wait for the generator to pop, then immediately pop the totem after it to get rid of the Bitter Murmur. So I mean, it's still exploitable. It just makes it to where it has to be procced after the generator goes off instead of before. So if the killer's quick in the 1 second they have, or 0.5 seconds they have to see how many people are at a particular generator, cool. But they're not going to get that much aura reading. I mean, same with Rancor and all of that. That aura reads and all the other things you get, and barbecue and chili and all of that, is going to be cut extremely short. So this makes it to where you're not completely cutting it off, but you can still essentially time it, and you just wait to get it, because you have all of these charges that increases speed, then you have the extra add-ons and everything else that goes on top of that. So cleansing speed's going to be sped up quite a bit. It's not going to take but, you know, a couple of seconds to actually time that out to get the totem pop right after the generator. This also leads up to Survivor, maybe not purposely, but unintentionally trolling his teammates. Because if I'm running Inner Strength or something like that, you know, or Inner Healing, I guess is what it's called now, or any type of perk that's activated by totems, and I just see one, and I run over and, you know, I pop a totem, I just stopped for 10 seconds the abilities of survivors working on generators. If there's 3 other survivors working on generators, I just delayed the game 30 seconds. And every totem that's been popped is going to delay the game for 30 seconds. So you're just going to have survivors sitting there pissed, like, who keeps popping totems for everyone that you actually interact with to get your perks back. So it's taking a lot of value from any type of perk popping perk. So you got to keep in mind that's going to have the another negative effect towards survivors. It's also going to have that negative effect towards killers too. He says nobody has thoughts on this seriously. I mean, sure, this would help with boon totem builds. Yes. Indeed. But what about the killers? No killers are going to comment on this to justify say that this tips the scales too far in the survivor's favors. None. I wouldn't say that it tips this just the scales too far in survivor's favorites, because boon totems themselves have tipped the scale slightly. And I'm not saying it's survivor silent. I'm just saying that it's tipped it a little bit farther to the survivor's side, because, well, they can now blast totems. But I mean, killers can now stuff totems, which tips it back to an even scale. It's been balanced, trust me. I played the PTB when they came out. A lot of changes were made throughout that. But I don't see your particular concept tipping the scale too far in survivor's side, or tipping the scale too far in killer's side. What I see is the possibilities of unintentional trolling and exploits, and then some usability issues, like that one in particular, that makes a little bit of it, you know, not really that great. Because I mean, if I'm, you know, hitting the blood web, getting things, every time I get a crystal heart, or even possibly any time I get a crystal heart and an arrowhead, as opposed to the other things, I'm gonna be pissed. So I'm like, man, I could have had, you know, any type of add-ons for a med kit, a flashlight, even a crappy toolbox that would have been, you know, more useful than a particular crystal heart or an arrowhead. So I mean, this particular item could have been a syringe, which stops blood and heals you. So both of these combinations together could have been a syringe. Could have been something else that's completely useless. Could be something that was decent, you know. You don't know. Callus says, cool idea. I agree. Killer mains would definitely hate this. Definitely, especially if it's exploited. Considering the massive uproar the boon totems caused immediately after they were announced. Maybe with this new item mechanic, behavior should add the killer version of small game. Or even better, boon fighting stuffing perks in the future. Giving penalties to the survivors for blessing a totem also could work. They tried that. Didn't work. It's completely terrible. They even tried increasing how long it takes to bless totems. Didn't work. Way too long. Doesn't work. Killers don't need any version of small game or anything like that, because you can hear them from a long ways away. As soon as you walk in, you hear the, you know, sound. that it's nearby. You don't need help finding it because you can literally hear it, and it stays in your ears until you snuff it. You don't need any type of perks. And if you, I mean, I guess they could add another perk to like a hagstyle killer and make it to where on X effect all boon totems get snuffed. But I mean that it's so weak. Survivors have to be within that particular area to get that boon totem effect. It's extremely weak to waste a perk slot just to snuff boon totems. They're not that powerful. They're not that great. To actually get them to work takes a lot of effort, and it also takes time off generators. Oh, survivors can heal, or they can get up off the ground, or something like that. Oh no, but they're not working on generators. You know what I'm saying? If they want to waste their time doing something else besides gen, I'm for the most part happy about it. And if you have 4 survivors slugged, and you hear a boon totem in the distance, then you might want to start hooking survivors and not just sitting there in them and letting them keep getting up. Another thing I'm happy about is people stop running self-care, because the people that don't know how to efficiently use self-care were spending 32 seconds off of gens and making the game last a lot longer than it needed to be, giving the killer the advantage. Now that perk's kind of not being ran anymore, for the most part. I mean, there's still people that still run self-care. That's their bread and butter. But there's other perk opportunities for faster healing, one of which takes out the totems that can be blessed. So, you know. But I mean, as well, there's not a lot of people I see running boon totems. I get like a boon totem user one every like 3 games. I haven't played recently, so I don't know. But back before the artist came out, I'd find a boon user like one every 3. I gotta think about it. I haven't played Dead by Daylight since the artist came out. I've been distracted doing other things and other streams, things like that. I might get back into Dead by Daylight after I finish Splinter Cell. By the way, I think I decided based on view count if I'm going to keep continuing on, because one day I had like around 20 viewers and I only did the regular mission and things like that and didn't restart because, you know, I was just sticking the schedule. I could have pushed out another mission though, but I mean, if nobody's there and it's 0-0 and I'm running Splinter Cell, which generally it takes me an hour to complete a mission because I play scuff cells, not stealth cells. So, just on a side note, if I don't have any viewers in by the time I finish that particular mission, I'm cutting the stream. If I have 1 viewer or something like that, then it's different. Give me 1 second. Alright, let's jump back into this. Showing the aura of the survivor for a certain period of time after he blesses a totem. That's an absolutely terrible idea, because it already takes 10 seconds off of gen time. Then you're going to penalize the survivor for trying to help their team. It'd be something if the killer actually had to go out of their way to, you know, like sit on the totem for a little bit of time. But no. They can just literally walk up and then stomp it. Giving a negative status effect to a survivor after blessing a totem, etc. That would be incorporated into a specific killer, not just added into the game. Again, they're doing an altruistic action to try to help their team. They shouldn't be penalized for that. Now that's a good FedEx guy. He came to the driveway, even walked all the way up, delivered packages, didn't even drive through the driveway. Good delivery guy. That guy needs a raise, because the other guy just drove right up and screwed everything up, which had to be redone. So, appreciate you. And here's that effect I was talking about. Then, I mean, yeah, to be fair, you went fishing for that particular effect, and then somebody obliged you. Yeah, I do think that boon totems ought to have some sort of negative effect. See, I don't think so, because they've done that. They've tested this. I mean, if you guys were part of the public test beta and the whole progress, and you went to the forum and you gave your ideas and your feedback and things like that, you would know this information. So I can't agree there. And if you didn't participate in the public test beta surrounding boon totems and their implementation, then you really don't have the right to speak out about it. It's like what I say about the president. Sure, you might not think that your vote don't count, but if you don't make the vote, you don't have the right to complain about the outcome. And it's not that when they say every vote counts, they're talking about particular groups of people. Every vote does count. If everybody like you that didn't vote, and let's say that's 32,000 people, which is a lot more, by the way, but let's say 32,000 people are exactly like you that didn't vote. If you guys would actually get up, go out, take the time and actually cast your votes, the scale would tip. You could control the future of your state if just you got everybody just to vote. Because right now, the people that want everything to stay the same or want to make a change are the only people that are voting, and they are butting heads to see whether you want everything to stay the same or you want it all to change. And everybody else is just sitting there watching the fight happen. Well, debate happen, not a fight, because you shouldn't ever add into a fight. But a debate, you should add your info and all of that into a debate. That's what debates are for. And if you don't agree with the outcome of the debate and you just sat there looking at it, then, who are you to say anything? You never contributed. So, that's a new idea for boon totems. Things like that. I don't agree that boon totem should have any type of negative effect. They've already tried that. After that, he just goes into corruption and things like that. Like I said, this is a side conversation. I'm not going to go heavily into it. The tarot cards, I've done this particular review before, but I figured I would take the time to go back through and go through it again. So I think the first time I went through it, I didn't necessarily agree with the majority of everything and how it was implemented. There was a couple of things that needed to be changed, and now, I mean, it's not terrible coming back to it. If anything, I would say that it's good, and it's good, or it has its implementation and things like that. Just again, this long paragraph, I would make it a lot more readable and even potentially shorten it. Because you got to keep in mind, all of this has to go on the actual add-ons themselves. And then these two I would either review, relook at, or make, you know, somewhere around the same tier as the other items. Because, like, for flashlights, for example, you know, you have things that make the, well, I mean, flashlights a bad example. Flashlights have add-ons that have stacking effects. So I guess that's not a fair comparison between those two. But this deals with healing. So if we move this and make it something like comparison to a medkit. Medkit has something that consumes everything and gives it a quick heal. It has things that reduce charges but gives you a considerably, you know, higher amount of heal. It has things to add charges to it. It has things that give you blood points and reward you for getting good skill checks, etc., etc. Like, it goes all the way around the pool with its effects and all of that. Whereas this particular thing increases healing speed and then it gets rid of the corruption effect. So, you know, just kind of look at the items and things that are already available in game and then try to stay to, you know, that bar that's already been preset. Try to meet that bar or exceed the bar within, you know, limits and balance, checks and balances, things like that. But yeah, it's a good idea. I could get behind it. You're not gonna get like a huge you're not gonna get this huge super balance or anything like that, because keep in mind, in order to get the perfect balance, it has to go through PTB. But you can get it semi-close, you know, within the 80% strike range, and then refine it through PTB. I'm seeing a lot of killers and things that I've posted, well, some actually popping back up because they've just been reposted or edited and reposted. Homestruck. I've done this before. Apparently, there's 2 Homestrucks within a day of each other. LMAO. Yeah, lethargic. Interesting.
You said he's loading up the rocks now to head this way. 10:30.
Alright. Cool. We got more rock coming through. I mean, that's great. I just finished that other concept and we are good. So, thanks everybody for stopping by. I got work to do. Well, work to finish, not do, finish. We want to finish today. No later than the day. It was supposed to be finished today, maximum. So, wish me luck. Remember, supplement your lifestyle. I'll fix the title and everything else later on.